Welcome back to State of Decay 2 and the Assembly. As always, we're starting an episode in the middle of a siege. I'm hoping this won't be too bad of a siege, but... Oh no, wait, we're in the red. That's right. I'm in the middle of building a field hospital. Of course I am. So that means this siege is going to be worse than it had to be. I probably should have waited to start my field hospital until after, like directly after a siege. Oh. Die. Okay, I'm probably not happy I let that... I probably should have shot him. I'm kind of saving... Oh, there's another screamer. I'm going to go run this guy down. Screamers just walk into doors. They cannot understand how doors work. You know, we've been talking a little bit about All of Us Are Dead, and one of my favorite things in that show is the... Oh, crap! Is the fact that their high school has got sliding doors, and zombies just cannot figure out sliding doors. Like, I love that the zombies in All of Us Are Dead are super scary and dangerous. They are extremely fast, and they're not superhumanly strong, but they're able to do a lot. They're extremely capable. They're extremely dangerous. They're very, sensitive. Like, they can... It's really hard to sort of sneak around past them. So there's a lot of reasons to be afraid of them. But all you got to do to like escape them, to like get some respite, is to go inside a classroom with a sliding door, and then they're like all pressed up against the door trying to get at you and cannot figure out how to slide it. In fact, their weight on the door probably makes it more difficult. For even if a zombie did figure it out, the fact that all the zombies are pressing on the door, it's probably making it more difficult. All right, let's take this guy out. So, what is my plan for today? Well, I've got a couple of different ideas. First thing, though, did I see a bloater? I did. So I've got a bounty right now to kill a bloater while crouched. So I'm just going to start by accomplishing something. Yay! Oh, I feel so successful. Awesome. I still need to kill 4 armored Zeds with my vehicle and find some Enclave that wants to be allied with me.
Just trying to make myself useful.
But what am I actually going to do? So, oh wait, I forgot. I parked my car on the other side. So I've got a couple of goals. One goal is I need a meds outpost. And there's one right over here. I need a meds outpost because I think meds are the main resource I'm losing regularly. I've got +1 materials a day, plus 0.5 food a day, and I think I can actually make that better by dumping some seeds in the garden. But my meds is -2 a day for my infirmary. And meds, they are kind of the rarest resource. And if I'm going to be, getting blood plague possibly multiple times and needing to spend meds on that, I'm going to need to have a nice, reliable source of meds. So that's number 1. Oh, wait, but before I get started, there's another thing I want to do. So Update 29 landed last week while I was on hiatus, and it brought with it a feature that I want to play with. And that feature is the field of view slider. So I actually really like the field of view of 70 that we have. I like our default camera. That's probably what I actually want to play with all the time. But I'm a little bit curious about, like what it will be like to play with the field of view kind of ridiculously wide or ridiculously narrow. So let's start by widening the field of view as far as we're allowed. So that means the camera is zoomed out. And it does mean that there's a little bit of distortion around the edges. Ooh, my Conda. My Conda! No, my Conda is broken. My Conda, my Conda. Where is the... There it is. Supply locker. Okay, I gotta fix my Conda. There we go. My Conda is fixed. Oh, hello, everyone. Here, you all deal with these zombies. I would like to not get very sick. I'd like to just take off. So I'm sure you people can handle this. Meanwhile, I'm going to go claim the meds outpost. Oh, hey, a couple of screamers. That seems like a bad thing to just leave lying around. Oh, come on. And he probably made a... Ooh. Okay, that hurt my vehicle, but I just got one armored Zed with my vehicle, and that is worth it. Is there another armored Zed in this group? It looks like no. So we're just going to leave these folks behind. Goodbye! So I didn't actually check my... Okay, I've got plenty of influence. That's good. Because, yeah, I didn't actually check my influence to see if I could afford to claim an outpost. But I can't. So, wow. So it is a little bit weird to see my car so far away. So, like, as... Let's see here. Okay, so let's go and claim... Let's claim this meds outpost right here. But yeah, so the effects of field of view are really interesting because, you know, in real life, of course, like, your eyes have a particular field of view that is correct for a human. It's interesting how capable we are of just looking at the world through different fields of view. It's like this, you know, you would imagine there's got to be sort of like there's some alternate universe where the human brain developed differently, where the only field of view that makes any sense is the one that actually matches our eyes, and where a human being looking at a picture that is in a different field of view would like feel dizzy or sick or feel like it's wrong or like it's in the uncanny valley or something like that. But that's just not how it works. It's like you can have a really tight field of view, you have a really huge one. Now it does play some tricks on you. Like, for instance, a really tight field of view, you know, zooming in a camera. If you're, like, for instance, taking a picture of the moon against the horizon, if you're using a really tight field of view on your camera, really, you know, whatever, you're using a zoom lens, the moon will look like it's physically huge in a way that doesn't actually make any sense. You know, the moon doesn't ever actually look that way in real life. It's just basically because you're practically just zooming in, or you're like, it's like you're cropping the image. It's like you took a normal image of the moon and then cropped it down so the moon was the largest thing in the frame. And so when you look at a picture of a moon that's zoomed in like that, you're kind of like, the moon is huge. That's the way your brain interprets it, even though actually what happens is it's like you just took a tiny little fragment of your vision and zoomed in on it. And so I guess, you know, and another thing, like right now, like with the camera low to the ground and a wide field of view, you'll see how fast the road is rushing under me. You'll notice that when a car accelerates really fast in a game... Ah! Nope, did that just... Yes, it did. Crap. Okay. That was a problem. I thought that I had dodged that guy, but I guess he just blew himself up right close enough that I got caught with the splash damage. That was unfortunate. Oh, and there's a freaking feral over here. Hey, buddy. All right. So zooming in on a distant zombie is challenging when the field of view is wider. Like, I really could barely see that guy. That was interesting. Anyway, yeah, you'll notice that, like, when you, like, have a game that has got, like, say, a boost mechanic, once I claim another outpost down here, I'm going to need to grab a repair kit for this car. They'll often widen the field of view as you are, you know, like hitting the boost, because it makes it look like you're going faster. Like the screen, it feels like it's getting deeper, and so you're sort of the speed at which you move deeper into the screen. The speed at which you move deeper into the screen feels like it's getting more dramatic. Whereas when you zoom in, when you've got like a tight field of view, lateral movement is exaggerated. You notice like parallax will suddenly be intensified. And so depending on the kind of movement you've got going on the screen, different field of views can actually make more or less sense. But yeah, like if you for instance, if you had a camera and you're circle strafing somebody and you want to really make it look like I think Michael Bay does this a lot. Like he'll do a tracking shot around a character and he'll use a really tight lens so that the background is just whipping by at maximum speed from that sort of rotational movement, because that's what happens when you zoom in with a tight field of view. Whereas if you want something to look really like big and imposing, oftentimes you'll often want to use sort of a wider field of view and just get really close to it, and like those really sort of like low angle Michael Bay shots of like a character standing heroically. I think a lot of the times those will have like more of a wide field of view. I don't know, it's just fascinating, like when you actually sort of like look into how lenses work and how images get get made. It's just there's so many weird psychological effects or experiential effects that you can create just by messing with the lens and messing with your brain's expectations. All right, so I came down here because I knew that there was a... Oh, right, plague territory. I was about to say I was going to come down here and claim an outpost, but of course... Now, just the fact that I can't see a lot of plague hearts doesn't mean there aren't a lot of plague hearts. My character is practically full up on plague. I don't think I am in any shape to be going after a plague heart right now. Not with this guy, not right now. So, this pharmacy is not my answer. I wonder if there's... Nope. Get off. Okay. So now the sun has gone down. I'm a little nervous. Just because I can't really see what's coming as easily. Though we have improved your visibility at night. Note that the sun is down. And it's still dark enough that, like, the zombie eyes really pop. The headlights do feel like they're really making a difference. But notice that you can actually see all the details on the horizon. Like, you can actually, unless there's something, like, really low about your video quality, the lighting is not such that, like, that you can't see your hand in front of your face. And this is a very delicate balance that our artists have done, trying to, make it so that it really feels dark and oppressive without literally being, like pitch black so that you can't see anything. That is like a tightrope walk, and getting it right, it takes a lot of skill and practice. And so the lighting artists who work on this should be very, very proud of themselves. Okay, so now what I'm looking for is someplace. So I could just go back to my outpost that I just made, because I need a repair kit for this car. I would like for this car not to explode. That is one of my important goals. And so maybe what that means is going all the way back to the meds outpost I just made. But actually, you know what? One other kind of outpost I often like: ammo outpost. Like, this community has very little ammo right now, and I imagine that's going to continue because this is the Nightmare Zone. And so I should set myself up with at least some trickle of ammo coming into my community. So that's what I'm going to do. I've got another slot. In fact, I might even have... I've got a fourth slot now. I'm just adding outpost slots like crazy. I've got another slot, so rather than just going straight back... Ooh. Okay, car's in bad shape, but... Boom, boom. And... Boom! Yes! Bounty complete. Anyway, what was I saying? I don't have a lot of ammo, is what I'm saying. And so, we should claim this ammo outpost. And this is one of the few places that isn't under the sway of plague hearts right now. Oh, hi. Apparently zombies can hear cars. Oh, hi. Another one. Hello. All right. So yeah, let's claim this place because it's one of the only places. Because it's right near my starter base, that's why there's not a plague heart near. And that's why there wasn't, the first plague heart I had to kill was over here. And so that's why this one was free. So until I go on a campaign to actually take out the plague hearts, these little spots are the only places where I can really legitimately expect to find usable outposts.
We're trying to set up shop and we could use a hand.
Ooh, the drag racers. They want to claim a shop. That sounds like a potential good use of my time. So let's run around in here first. Make sure we've been all the places. And let's claim... What am I doing? Claim this outpost. Claim it. Confirm. All right, this is ours now. So let's grab that one toolkit that I have. Drop off the rest of this stuff I don't need. But I think I'm actually going to use this first aid kit. My character's in trouble. Do I have any plague cure? I don't think I do. Can I manufacture plague cure? I think, especially now that I have a meds outpost, especially since I have an upgraded meds outpost, I think I can afford to spend some of my stuff. So let's get some plague here. Just because all of my other characters are in terrible shape. Oh, wait a minute. Are they all, though? No, they've been getting better. Okay, never mind. Izad, I'm not going to use my plague cure on you. Let's switch back to fanning. Fanning's got some good stuff. Break, suppressor. All right. Yes. All right, so Fanning is not sick. Fanning's in good shape. So let's take Fanning down to the drag racers. So my goal with the drag racers right now is to get them allied with me. Oh, wait, did I just switch? Dang it. Ah, freaking heck. Okay. I did something really stupid. Izad has got my repair kit. I put it in his inventory and then switched characters. That was stupid. So let's repair the Trekker with Izad. All right, there we go. Now we'll switch to Fanning. And let out. Yeah, so my goal with this Enclave, I want them to become my allies, because that will satisfy my bounty. Ooh, the Trekker is almost out of gas. I think I can get over here on this tank though. I think the Trekker is fairly efficient because it's a compact car. So I think I can get down there pretty comfortably on this tank. So they want me to claim a shop with them. That sounds like it's not too bad. Oh, so B-Downs was suggesting that rather than using a plague cure, I should use the infection recovery option in the facility. So I wasn't sure if I can use that from a distance. Can I use infection recovery if I'm at an outpost? It's funny to me that I don't know the answer to this question, but I genuinely don't. Because, yeah, I did realize that using a plague cure just to recover a little bit of infection, of sickness, didn't seem like a really good move, actually. Seemed like a bad use of resources. So you probably had a better idea than me for how to make it work for Azad. But, yeah. So here we go. So switching to fanning, though, that works too. You should be more positive. Okay. Here, hey, Taniqua. What's up? Yes, sure. Let's go clear out a place.
Take the newbie over there with you. More useful than standing around here.
Let's go take out a place that has got zombies in it. Where is it? Where are we going? Ooh, there's a wandering trader, too. Oh, wait. Am I supposed to... Oh, right. Tom is coming with me. And actually, oh, before I grab Tom, we should also gas up this car. So, average Twitch user is asking me a little bit about the background and the lore behind the freaks. So that is another. I mean, that is another case of lore we haven't gotten into. The closest thing we've done to explaining the freaks is having Sasquatch in Lifeline make a bunch of oddball guesses about how the freaks work. Like mostly, he's just lampshading the fact that they don't make any sense, and calling attention to all the things about them that are weird. And that's actually, very similar to what I like in The Expanse, which is, The Expanse has got a lot of stuff that happens that is unscientific. That's like, no, that probably is not a thing that's actually possible. But the characters are all really aware of science and how it works. And all the conventional stuff works exactly the way something really should. And so when something happens in the world that is not justified by science, everyone notices. It's not like one of those weird things where, you're watching some weird show that doesn't get science, like Another Life or something, and they say something where you listen to it and you're just like, that doesn't make any sense. Like in Star Trek Discovery when Michelle Yeoh's character is like, oh, it seems like in the future there's an entire different periodic table of the elements. And I'm like, no, that's not a thing that could possibly happen. What are you talking about? Anybody in your position would know that's insane. The only people who don't know that that's a thing are apparently TV writers. But, oh, there's a freaking feral. Okay. Oh wait, oh, you're going after the other character? Wait, you know, I need a feral to run straight at me so that I can shoot it. Oh, so did he? Okay, I couldn't figure out what the heck that feral was doing. Like it just was doing nothing for me. Oh gosh, okay. Wait a minute, no, we are not gonna have a screamer. No, thank you. There's 2 of them. Nope. There we go. Anyway, and so, but yeah, so when you've got a show that, or a game or whatever that's doing stuff that is blatantly ascientific, I appreciate it when the characters also notice, because then the show doesn't feel dumb. Like if it feels like the show is doing things that are ascientific because the writers just don't know anything about science, that's not very impressive. You know, it annoys me, and it feels like, okay, this story takes place in a world that makes no sense, and I have trouble engaging with it. But if you've got a game or a story or whatever, oh come on, I thought I had dodged that. When you've got a story where ascientific things happen, but everyone notices, then you're like, oh, okay. This isn't a world written by a person who doesn't understand science and doesn't understand how the world works. This is a story written about something surprising, and everyone knows how surprising it is. And that just feels fine. That feels smart. That feels clever. I like that. So so that's what we tried to do in Lifeline with that series of missions with Sasquatch, the place where Sasquatch was introduced. As you know, we knew that in State of Decay, we'd introduced all of these monsters that just didn't make any. You're like, why is this Juggernaut zombie like 11 feet tall? Like, how did that happen? No, I don't believe there was a human that big who got bitten by a zombie. Something weird is going on, and it doesn't make any sense. How did he get that mass? Where did it come from? You know. But rather than trying to explain it elaborately and just getting things, you know, and coming up with stuff that just was nonsense, we're like, it's not important to know where it came from. So we just had Sasquatch point out the silliness of all of it. Like, why does this happen? How does that work? What's going on? And because Sasquatch is smarter than the situation, you feel like the writers are smarter than the situation. And I was hoping that people who recognize the absurdity of zombies would appreciate that and feel like be more able to immerse themselves in the story.
I appreciate that.
Because they because we sort of did that nod to how silly it was. Oh, interesting. So Jedi Cytric says, have you ever considered a game mode with no cure, where your characters just have not figured out how to cure the blood plague once you have it? That does sound like actually a fascinating way to play. Like if we started, messing around and coming up with what am I trying to say? Like alternate modes or alternate like say difficulty settings, that sort of thing. That's a really clever one. Where it's like once a character, oh gosh, I ran out of stamina and didn't notice. Like if we set it up so that once a character got blood plague, that timer really is the timer until they die. And you're just like, okay, well, I guess I'll just use this character for dangerous stuff until they die. Especially like, if you could still delay their death by putting them in the infirmary, but then they can't do anything. You just have to have an infirmary that's full of all your favorite doomed characters. That actually sounds like it could be pretty... I mean, obviously, you would not want to bring characters you like into a situation like that. But that could actually be a really interesting alternate way to play. I like that idea, Jedi Cytrix. Jedi Cytrix, I'm going to write that idea down. That's how far I'm going to take this. No cure mode. that's the kind of thing too. It's like, obviously somebody could just decide to play in no cure mode. Just say like, oh yeah, I'm just never going to make a cure and I'm going to pretend that. But that's the kind of thing where, like, I did this a lot in, say, XCOM. I would be like, okay, I'm going to play this game. I'm not going to put it formally into Iron Man mode or hardcore mode or whatever they call it. The version where you can't ever reload a save and try again. But I'm going to take it seriously. When a character dies, I'm just going to let them die. And that works for a short time until I get invested in the characters. And then the next time that a character I really care about dies, I'm like, maybe I wasn't serious about that. Maybe you know what, never mind. And I'll change my mind. The only way that I'll ever actually stick to a commitment like that is if I switch to a mode where it's enforced. If I actually am playing a hardcore game and I actually literally cannot change my mind, that's the only time I'll really actually stick to it. And so I'm imagining that might be the value. That might be the value of a mode like that, or an option like that, would be the fact that, players would basically past you would would write a check that now future you has to cash. And you would not be able to just sort of change your mind and be like, never mind, oh no, I will actually cure this character. You'd be like, oh crap, no, I made a commitment and now I'm stuck to it. Like that could be kind of fun and rewarding and horrifying and maybe bad. I don't know, but it would be up to you to decide if you wanted to play that way or not. Okay, so the whole focus in the background of this episode has been what it looks like to play with a wider FOV. So I am actually curious. So Jedi Cytrix, you often do suffer from motion sickness playing games. As I've been driving around, I don't know if you've been watching or just listening. As I've been driving around, like, has the game been easier to watch because I've had the wider FOV? I've heard that because, sideways parallax and things moving around relative to each other is reduced when the FOV is wider. And you can see more without moving the camera as much, that it might actually be easier on people with motion sickness. But because I don't really suffer from motion sickness from playing games, that's not a problem that I can even tell if it's happening. So I'm curious if it works for you. Because one thing I'm noticing is that when I first switched to 100, I was like, oh wow, yeah, my car is really small. Everything's really zoomed out. Oh, that's weird. Very quickly, my brain adapted. My eyes adapted, and I'm seeing the game almost the same way as I usually do. Just it's almost like I just have better peripheral vision, because when you focus on something, it is almost like your field of view narrows. Not really. It's not like you're really zooming in like with a camera with your eyes. You can't do that. But like when I'm focused on this car, I'm only just thinking about the car and what's happening around the car. When I'm focused on my character, I'm only just thinking about my character and what's near my character. And it's like I get a little bit of tunnel vision. And so I'm not really feeling that much of a difference playing with the wider FOV compared to playing with the normal average FOV. It feels like it actually is kind of about the same because my brain is compensating by focusing more closely on the middle of the screen. Now, I think the main difference is the thing I'm focusing on has got lower resolution because it's smaller in my screen. I'm not taking advantage of the full resolution of the screen to see it. And things like, zooming in at a distant target is tougher because everything's further away. So there are ways in which I'm sort of paying a cost for it, but it's not that bad. Oh, I think I've got something in the trunk, don't I? I do. We'll drop that off. We'll drop this off. And we'll use our health. Oh, wow, somebody has a prepper ant? Oh, that's so exciting. I wonder what's going to happen in that mission. That's great. Excuse my sarcasm towards my own game. So let's see, how long have I been? I think I've got about an episode's worth of content, delicious, creamy content. So let me try to catch up with the chat a little bit while I'm at home. So Jedi Centric says that she's actually currently in a bad episode of Vertigo. So this is not an opportunity for her to give me any feedback on the visuals. That's totally fine. Please stay, whatever you're doing to manage that, please continue. I'm not going to try to get you to stop. So Jedi Sectrix also says, sure, listen to him rub it in that his brain is capable of compensating. So I think that if I was suffering from motion sickness, that's a different thing from what I'm compensating just for the change in the image, not something like vertigo. And so that's, I'm not really trying to rub it in, but yeah, I'm sorry for what you're dealing with there. It's not something that I would wish on someone. So let me scroll back here and just see what I missed. Oh, so Alpha Wolfman was actually hoping to get some feedback on an idea that they put on, I guess I should say he. Clearly he's got a gendered name here. I don't have to say they. Want to get my take on an idea they put on the wish list. The idea is about having a karma/reputation system. So adding more things to keep track of in the game. Like we've got, I talk about the complexity budget a lot. It would be difficult to add almost anything else that you have to keep track of as far as things like karma and reputation. But I should say that I, in theory, love reputation systems. Specifically, there's a lot of different ways you can handle the idea of karma, or the idea of like, I think when somebody talks about a karma and reputation system, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Alpha Wolfman, I believe that that when somebody talks about karma and reputation, what they're talking about is you make moral choices and the game evaluates what that moral choice means about you as a person and gives you some kind of score to track your your morality. And sometimes it's treated like it's an intrinsic thing, like it's like, God has declared that you are a bad person or a good person, like say Knights of the Old Republic, and I think Fallout does that a little bit too. Knights of the Old Republic is a little bit more of the metaphysical version. Whereas, say you get something like, Mass Effect and Fallout are a little bit more like they're trying to hint that it's about how other people view you, but it still feels a lot like it's just an intrinsic moral judgment about your choices. And so I actually tend not to like karma systems like that, where it's like when you make a decision, the game says that was evil, that was good, and then it gives you a score that sort of determines whether you've got an angel or a devil on your shoulder that you're listening to. And I don't love that, because the most interesting moral choices in games are the ones where the choice isn't obvious, where it sort of starts peeling apart competing moral imperatives and differing perspectives on what right and wrong are. Those are the most interesting questions you can put into a game, the most interesting kinds of choices you can put into a game. But when you put a karma system in a game, any choice like that, it seems like it's got nuance to it. Whatever happens when you make the choice and you see what the karma points do, the karma points tell you, no, this was the right answer, this was the wrong answer. And it sort of cheats you out of a lot of that nuance. My go-to example is in Fallout 3. Harold, if I'm remembering, I could be remembering the names of characters wrong stuff because it's been a long time. But Harold was this, this ghoul character who's been, who was, you could track him through all of the Fallout games up to that point. And he shows up and he's sort of been mutated by this tree that was growing out of his head. And he's in this sort of living this life of pain and an inability to move. And he's really sort of unhappy with his life. And he asks you to kill him. And that's an interesting question, right? Because he's asking to die. He clearly has a lot of disadvantages in his life. But at the same time, I've got friends who are, activists in, say, the disabled community who are really, really uncomfortable with this, with any sort of media that pushes the idea that if someone's life looks unpleasant and painful to you, that you should advocate for that person's life to end. Because there is this sort of like public morality, at least in certain sectors of society, that seems to really push that idea that, oh, that person's life looks really hard. I bet they want to die. They should get to die if they want to. They should die. There's this progression of moral decisions there that really starts to feel oppressive to some people who are disabled, who are like, hey, could you just like not judge my life as being not worth living? Thank you. Maybe I want to have a life, even though I've got a lot of things that maybe seem uncomfortable to you and probably are uncomfortable to me, but not worth ending my life over. Get out of here. If I'm depressed, maybe try being my friend and making me happier. Maybe try to help me with struggles that I have, and or join me in something we both enjoy, or whatever. Like, do things to help me be happy. Don't tell me I should just die because I'm so miserable. Like, sheesh, what do you not value my life at all? That's a lot of the perspective that I've been hearing, from people that I know and people in my family and stuff like that. And so I'm like, when I saw that situation, I was like, no, I'm not going to kill Harold. I've only just met this person. He's saying he's really depressed and he wants to die. There could be a lot of other options here that are better than this. I'm not just going to kill him. That's just like jumping to conclusions, making a choice that is irrevocable, that, him on a different day, he might be like, no, what? No, please don't kill me. I've got things to live for. And so I was like, no, I'm not going to make that choice. And I chose to let him live. And I got bad karma points for it. And I was like, it's like, screw you, God of this world, for telling me that I'm evil, for making this choice that was, I'm sorry, I went through an entire process of deciding that I thought the morally good thing for him was for me to choose a different path than that. I do not like being told that that's evil, that process I went through meant that I'm an evil person. So, no, don't do that to me. But... So that's a way that karma systems can go badly. Reputation systems are different, because when a reputation system says, these people like you, these people don't like you, you can still use that to frame somebody's moral choices and say, the peacekeepers don't like it when you make this choice. The survivors don't like it when you make that choice. The galactic community disapproves of humans making this choice, but they do approve of humans doing this. However you want to frame it, if you frame it as this is another person's opinion of you that changed because of the choice you made, you can defiantly make choices other people don't like and say, no, I think I'm doing the right thing. Screw you, you're wrong. And you can make that decision, and the game hasn't told you that you're wrong and that you're evil for making the choices that you made. Instead, the game is just telling you, hey, this is the consequence. People like this don't like it when you do this. And you have to decide, oh, maybe they're right. Maybe they've got a reason. Maybe I should listen to them, or decide, no, I think they're wrong. I am making the right choice. That doesn't undermine the sort of moral authority of your world this way that a karma system does. Because a player can still stay engaged with your world and not have their sort of ability to suspend their disbelief be violated because because of the choice that you made, the choice that you made as a developer about what was right and what was wrong. You could passionately believe that certain things are right and wrong, and you can make sure that the game is making that point, and that you're putting in the mouths of compelling, engaging characters, making the case for the thing you think is right. And a lot of players will listen to it and will hear your message, and you'll probably do a lot of good in the world. And the players who are not ready to hear that message won't be driven out of your world by you just sort of judging them and saying, you're evil, sorry. And then they're like, well, screw you, and they quit playing the game. They might actually want to stay in your game. And maybe even if you're really passionate about your perspective on a particular topic, keeping players engaged in your game and engaged with your story, and then letting them see more of it and see more of the consequences of their actions and the point that you're making about the consequences of their actions. I think you'll actually do much more good by doing a reputation system rather than a karma system. So anyway, that was not the question you asked, Alpha Wolfman, and I'm so sorry for just spinning off and answering a completely different question from what you said. But when you just said the words karma and reputation together, I was like, I have a thing. I've got a whole spiel about this that I want to say. So there you go. That's my whole spiel. Thank you all for hanging out with me. Let me catch up here because I'm sure a bunch of chat went by while I was just staring at the camera and ranting. So we got fans of Knights of the Old Republic, fans of Fable, fans of Herald. So I think all of those things are good. Like, even when I criticized the karma system, I still liked Fallout 3. Like, it didn't actually destroy the game for me. Just that moment was not a good moment for me. Similarly, the moment in Mass Effect 2, where I think it was 2, where you decide the fate of the Geth. That was another nuanced choice, where the karma system told me the opposite thing from what I thought was correct. And so that was problematic for me too. So Jimmy the Geek says that they actually really appreciated some of the moral choices you make in State of Decay 2, like taking someone out back and shooting them because they have the plague. So that's actually a choice. I wish that we had done a better job with that choice, because the problem is there isn't actually a reason why you have to do that. If they just die of the plague, they die of the plague, and there isn't really much of a consequence to it. I think we should have made the consequences of them just dying of the plague more harsh, so that there's a reason to take them out back if you decide that it's worth it to you. So that's one choice where I feel like we could have framed it better to make it make sense. Okay, so I think we're mostly covered. I haven't answered responded to every single thing people have said, but you're also talking to each other as much as you're talking to me, so I think we're probably good. Let me wrap up this episode, finally. So there's a subscribe button. Here's the next episode. I'm going to make it right now. And for this one, I think we're going to zoom the FOV way in.